I was going through some old Hot Wheels castings when I came across this old Redline Buzz Off casting. The glass is pretty good on it, and it looked like a great candidate to do a restoration on. So I thought, what the heck? Why not? This Buzz Off design was produced from 1974 to 1977. This one has a metal base, and in 1977 they had a plastic base. So we know it's from 74 to 76 that this one was created. Took a little prying to get the base off of this one after drilling it out. It has two posts, one at the front, one at the back. And it was in pretty decent shape. I was really happy the glass was good. A lot of times restoring these old red lines, it's kind of, well, how does the glass look? What parts is it missing? Well, this had the cover on the back. The glass was in decent shape. So, yeah, that that makes it a lot easier. I used a pen vise to get the drilling started on these posts. Again, these are real tiny posts on these early red lines. Drilled and tapped it for the 172 screws. The 256 are just too large for these tiny posts. So got the screws in the front and the back, and I did, at this point you can tell I've already stripped it. And it was looking pretty good. It did need some cleanup. Obviously these things are play worn. This one had some obvious wear to it. So I always have to laugh when I see how speeded up these are. I think this one I speeded up to, 5 times normal speed. So it's interesting how the file just seems to glide over it when there's a lot of strokes in each one of those glides that's going across there. But as you can tell, it's not a bad looking casting. Early on when you saw me at the back of the casting, the post was a little loose. I'm not quite sure what happened to it. It wasn't completely loose, but there was a little play in the back. And fortunately, the back hatch on there is in great shape. And I was glad to see that it hadn't popped off or something like that. And I have a bunch of old red lines that are missing the engine covers, more than I'd like to say. And so a lot of those, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with them. Some will probably head a Gaslands route. Others I might try and cast something for them. I'm not quite sure right now what I'll do. But this one, I didn't have to worry about that stuff. So once I had it all cleaned up, I'm not spectraflaming this. So just went ahead and dunked it in the IPA because I'm going to hit this with one of my favorite colors, Deja Blue. Tester's Extreme Lacquer. And the Worth Clear once it's done. But I love that Deja Blue, and I thought it'd be a nice color, somewhat similar to the original color. So I go to put the decals on. Decals are from Second Chance Redlines. And I'm going to put it on here. And I probably should have taken another look at the photos I took before, the before photos on the casting. Because I'm sure that this is just going on perfect here. And I got to kind of smooth it out. I'm trying to figure it out. Something just doesn't seem right. And, well, yeah, I kind of had a brain fart because it's about right now that I'm realizing I put this on facing the wrong way. So I pluck it off of there. Yeah, I know, there's probably a lot better ways to do that. But I plucked it off of there, and then I had to really work at those sides. Wet decals, particularly when they're thin, like these sides, it's a very thin decal that extends down there, not much wider than the width of that pinstripe that you see there. But fortunately, it didn't break. That, I couldn't be happier that it didn't break. And after that, I moved on to the front decal. Very thankful that the back decal worked and that I have a nice big jar of microsol to help suck that thing down. And it would also be important for the front decal, because the front decal, I don't know if there were slightly different sizes of this casting, like very slightly different. But just lining up the headlights and stuff on this, the headlight covers, it just seems slightly off, ever so slightly off. And then getting that decal to set down towards where the center of the hood is, and see the sides slope up. So again, it's one of those situations where fortunately Microsol, again, once I kind of have this all set, you don't see me do it, I get all the decals where I want them on here, and then I coat them all with Microsol. It softens the decals and sucks them down to the body. Fortunately, you don't get to see me put the side decals on because I was stressed out and worn out by this point. So I didn't film any more of the decals, but the two side decals went on well as well. So I didn't put them the wrong way. I didn't have them break. It all just worked out. But after putting that one on backwards, yeah, that just kind of... Fortunately, I caught it. Well, I had to catch it because there was no way it was going to fit on the body otherwise. It just would have never worked. So I did polish the glass, as you see here, with Flitz. And gauzy. Dropped it in the gauzy after I had cleaned it with the Flitz and then rinsed it off. The gauzy really gives it a nice coat. There was very little edge to the glass to hold on to. Some of them have nice big areas you can grab with the tweezers. This one, because the front windshield and the two side glass pieces really are all that's there, except for a very tiny lip. I had to hang on to that when I dropped it in there. Yeah, and then it was time for me to try these again. Yep, that's right. I'm giving the hot swap bearings another try. If you've seen earlier videos where I've used these, you know I've had problems. They're difficult for me to get on the axles in the first place. For whatever reason, when I put them on this time, they went on very easily, but they didn't roll well. And that's a problem I have. I guess the axles I'm putting them on are just a little too fat. And so while they turn, they don't roll. So I thought, well, let me try this. And so I held them tight in needle nose pliers, kind of closing the bearing like it would be once it was on the wheel, and drilled them out ever so slightly larger for the axles on this buzz-off casting. And I always could have changed the axles out on the casting if I really wanted to, but I wanted to get this to work. And so I tried it. Yeah, obviously I took the wheels off. I took the front wheels off and I took one of the bearings off to give this a try. And then I had my usual dilemma of trying to get these on the axle. And you're only going to see part of this. I don't know if my fingers are too fat, if I just don't have the skill to do it easily. I don't know. They went on easy the first time I put them on. I'm not even showing you all the times I tried. But I eventually got it back on there and then popped the wheel back onto the bearing. And I did use the needle nose pliers to help it get on there. And I was happy because now, and you don't really see it all that well here, but it is spinning better than it was before. Now the size of the drill bit I ended up using was 0.0375 inches, which works out to around a number 62 wire size. And that really helped. I changed it out. I drilled out all the remaining bearings, and I'm happy with the hot swap bearings now. And it's the first time I can truly say that I am actually happy with the finished results using the hot swap bearings, because the car actually rolls now. And while they're wonderful if you just want to do a swap and you don't care if it rolls, I really wanted it to roll. And so drawing them out ever so slightly larger really did do the trick. And you'll see it here in a second once I get this assembled. And that's the point we're at now. I did obviously polish up the base. I did hit the base with a clear coat as well. And that's something I'm doing more often now. Rather than using, say, the Renaissance wax, as I had done before, now I'm just hitting it with a clear coat to make sure it's sealed and retains that high gloss look. And I seem to be pretty happy with that so far. I'll let you know if that changes. But that seems to be working better. So there you see it all together. I'm really happy with the results on this one. I like the Deja Blue too. You know, it's not identical to the original color, but it's close enough that I'm happy. And it rolls. I mean, check it out. It actually rolls. So there's where we started. It's, to say it's a little dinged up is putting it mildly. The paint is dinged up everywhere, but the glass is good. And I actually thought about keeping the original wheels on there because they weren't all that bad. But, you know, if I'm doing this, I'm going to do it right. And I thought, well, heck, let me swap them out. And I wanted the deep dishes on there anyway because I like the deep dish wheels. What can I say? So there you have it. A restored Hot Wheels Redline Buzz-Off casting. I hope you like this restoration. I'm really happy with the results. In case you're curious, on the back when I painted it, I just used a little glue tab, these little glue dots, to keep the back closed. It was elevated just slightly so that it wouldn't stick. And the glue dots worked great for that. Sprayed it, you know, did the decals, clear coat, and then took the glue dot out of there, and it worked out wonderfully. So just something to keep in mind if you're doing these. I hope you like this build. Thanks for watching. Everybody stay safe and healthy out there, and I'll catch you in the next one.